There's undoubtedly disappointment at other networks that were relishing this spectacle.
Rupert Murdoch and Fox News have avoided a lengthy trial, but both are still under intense public scrutiny.
There is no individual alive today who has done more damage to American democracy than Rupert Murdoch.
Former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is again pushing for a royal commission into the mogul's Australian empire, which controls more than half of the country's media. Tonight, this defamation case settled, but Mr Murdoch and his Fox News empire are facing the prospect of further civil suits. In Wilmington, Delaware, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
After the break, all of the day's finance news. To finance now, in a somewhat flat session for the ASX today with 0.1% worth of gains as shares in a casino giant reach record lows. And for more, I'm joined by Chief Investment Officer Scott Phillips from Motley Fool. Good evening, Scott. Almost all sectors today were in the red. What's happened?
That's a very, very good question. It turns out that the market is a little bit spooked by the potential for higher interest rates both here and overseas. And that was enough. Only the materials sector in the green, in positive territory. The rest of the market, unfortunately, in the red. In the end, materials were strong enough to almost see us break even, but that's the way of the markets.
OK, and shares in Star Entertainment have plunged after they announced their bid to cut costs.
They really have. Look, they're going to take out $100 million worth of costs, 500 jobs. Now, if you're like me, I'm surprised there were that many jobs that could be cut, really, think about what those businesses do. So I suppose to some degree this is the reality, I think, of a business that's been badly run for quite a while. It does come on the back, of course, of numerous government inquiries right around the country into both Star and its crosstown competitor, Crown. It's a very tough business. We say the house always wins. Turns out in this case, it really, really doesn't. As you said, a record low share price. Investors not sure where this finishes or what might need to be done to try to right the ship.
Now, inflation in the UK has remained in the double digits, meaning more rate rises are all but certain.
Yeah, that's right. 10.1% inflation over there. It's a reminder, too, that, you know, they're doing what they can or what they think they needed to do to get inflation under control. That's simply not been the case. They're going to have to either abandon the fight. I don't think that's a reasonable outcome, or, as you suggest, increase interest rates over there, maybe even more policies required by the government, some thus tax and spend decisions made, because 10.1% inflation is just taking literally $1.10 out of your pocket. You buy 10% less of what you used to buy for the same money. It's a really, really insidious tax on consumers.
And Scott, no doubt this will have an effect back here, won't it?
That's a good point. And so, you know, if you think about what the Reserve Bank's been doing, you know, it's trying to tread that fine path, the so-called soft landing. Can we get through with a few interest rate cuts without causing too much pain, you know, just doing enough but not too much? The challenge, I think, as we're seeing in the UK, is if you don't do enough, then it's not a case of things will be as bad as they are, but things actually may get worse. I've got to imagine that to whatever degree Governor Phil Lowe and the rest of the RBA board were contemplating increasing rates next month, I have to believe they've really had their backbones strengthened by this news out of the UK, and it does make a rate rise here ever more likely.
And just quickly before you go, Scott, how are the US futures looking this evening?
Oh, I wish we could finish on better news. Unfortunately, in early futures trading, the US market looks like it'll open down about 0.5%. Might be a day of red on Wall Street. Hopefully not, but it might impact our market here tomorrow as well.
Scott Phillips, thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, I'll have your forecast for tomorrow. Stay with us. Taking a look at the weather and around the country tomorrow, Brisbane partly cloudy and a top of 27. Showers for Sydney, 21 degrees. Canberra partly cloudy and 19. Melbourne, 18, light winds and an early fog. Adelaide, cloudy and 19 degrees. Perth, sunny, 28. And mostly sunny in Darwin, 33 degrees. To Friday's weather, and Brisbane, you're in for a shower or two and a top of 26. A shower or two for Sydney as well, 21 degrees. 21 the top for Canberra as well. Melbourne, 20 degrees and the chance of a shower. Adelaide, partly cloudy, 21. Perth, sunny, 29 degrees and 34, and mostly sunny in Darwin. And that's Nine's late news for this Wednesday. Our next bulletin is at 5 a.m, followed by the Today Show with Carl and Sarah. Thanks for your company. I'm Ellie Walsh. Good night.